and I saw Dr. Eric Weinstein. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience. And all of a sudden, he started talking about spinners. I'm like, what happens? Like, you need to go around twice to get back. I'm like, that's fascinating. So I got intrigued. So I started following these different things. And then I see Dr. Eric Weinstein. He's talking about geometric unity. He comes on this, quote-unquote, theories of everything from BBS Spacetime, who Matt was the gentleman over there that we had first saw. And then I came across Professor Brian Keating, the Nick Fury of the physics community. And I'm like, all right, he has a YouTube channel. So I started following him when he was down, like, probably less like 5,000, maybe a few more than that. Now he's up like 55,000. He's on like Lex Friedman podcast. So he's getting more notoriety. I'm like, he's a cosmologist. He hides his power level really well. He also had the opportunity, if there hadn't been a lot of dust, he probably could have won the Nobel Prize. Like, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. But all I know, I'm following him. I'm coming across all these different folks. And then just randomly one day, after like loading up my algorithm with all these different like Wolfram Physics videos and learning all these different things, I think it was Thad Roberts that happened to follow or like something that Professor Keating had put out. And also I'm like, mouse over on Twitter. Oh, this gentleman's a theoretical physicist. I'm like, I like those things. Oh. Then one day, while I'm just out for a jog, I'm like, let me find some drama things that I'm going to disagree with my friends so I can push back while I'm out for a run in the chat. And all of a sudden, I'm like, it's happening. I'm like, source code 7. I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. I'm like, isn't this the thing that, like, this is a theoretical physicist guy. I'm like, let me click on this. Coming, like, I don't know, 14, 15 minutes into it. And I'm listening, and I'm like, okay, platonic solids and stuff. I'm like, this is very interesting. I'm like, if half the things that this dude is saying is true, this is absolutely revolutionary. But again, I just assume just a random dude on the internet, because I am a random dude on the internet. So I'm like, I take it all in stride. And then the very next day, they came out with the muon G2 results. April
and
7th,
lucky for you guys, you get to see that moment because we recorded it.
And I'm like, all right, this is observation. And they're like, all right, this is very interesting. And I'm like, oh, I tweet at the gentleman. I'm like, does this help your model? He's like, yes. I come home. I look at the Fermilab results, and I'm like,
we confirm stage 21.
Okay. And I look at what was in the video that had premiered the day before that I had just been listening to a lot on a run.
These are the central parameters that code our geometric understanding of reality.
What's that? April 6th?
Literally. To the error bars. This literally lists the most important constructed parameters of existence.
I look at the numbers, I'm like, dude, man, nailed it. I think they were up to like 13 significant digits or something. I'm like, this guy predicted the muon G2 results. I'm like, go on. So I go back and start listening to it more, and now I've had him on for like the second time, and I'm like, all right, I see someone outside academia. I'm like, Dr. Eric Weinstein was attempting to literally just brute force geometrically unify like quantum field theory. I'm like, he's like, he got really close, and I'm like, this dude basically went on Wolfram Alpha and basically just ground it out. He also got an email that kind of let him know what was going on.
I did get somebody who's sent an email from actually somebody I had never met before, and said, hey, do you know what this conversation online? And somebody had noticed an equation that could close to predict the fine structure constant.
The fine structure constant. It's a dimensionless description of the strength of the electromagnetic force.
This can't possibly be reality. Going for over an hour.
Smart.